What if I told you that the only thing standing between you and your first $1,000,000 isn't your education, your connections, or even your current bank balance, but simply the words that come out of your mouth every single day? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth, while others struggle no matter how hard they work? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Think about this for a moment. We spend countless hours researching which smartphone to buy, which investment app to download, or which business strategy to implement. Yet we pay almost zero attention to the invisible force that's shaping our financial reality minute by minute: our language. Has this ever happened to you? You catch yourself saying things like, "I can't afford that," "money doesn't grow on trees," or "that's way too expensive for me," and then wonder why abundance seems to keep its distance. What if these seemingly innocent phrases are actually powerful cosmic commands you're unknowingly sending to the universe? The truth is, your words are not just expressions of your thoughts, they're activation keys to universal financial laws. Every syllable that leaves your lips is like punching in a cosmic code, placing specific orders with the universe about what you want to receive. And right now, whether you realize it or not, your speech patterns are either summoning wealth or repelling it. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I'm about to share might completely transform how you speak, and consequently, how much money flows into your life. The wealthiest people I've studied aren't just lucky, smarter, or more hardworking than everyone else. They've simply deciphered an ancient prosperity code that's been hiding in plain sight since the beginning of time. While most people struggle with affirmations that feel as authentic as a $3 bill, millionaires have mastered a language pattern that automatically magnetizes money toward them. It's almost as if they're speaking a different dialect altogether, one that the universe responds to with immediate abundance. What you're about to discover might surprise you, because this isn't about positive thinking, vision boards, or any of the manifestation techniques you've likely tried before. This is about understanding the literal, almost mechanical way that the universe processes your verbal commands and delivers experiences that match exactly what you've ordered. Imagine if you could speak a single sentence that would command the universe to release your first $1,000,000. Would you be interested in knowing what that sentence is? And more importantly, how to say it in a way that the universe can't possibly misinterpret? The fascinating thing about this prosperity code is that it doesn't require years of study or spiritual enlightenment to master. In fact, once you understand the fundamental principle behind it, you'll wonder how you ever missed something so obvious. If you're ready to transform your financial reality through the power of your words, subscribe to the channel now. I share powerful techniques that help you command wealth into your life with simple language shifts that most people miss completely. You see, here's where most people get it completely wrong. They stand in front of mirrors reciting affirmations like, "I am wealthy," or "money flows to me easily," while their bank account is screaming with overdraft notices. And in that moment, a profound cognitive dissonance is created. Your conscious mind is saying one thing while your reality is showing you something entirely different. It's this inner conflict that causes most manifestation. Techniques to fail spectacularly. They're like chocolate teapots. They look impressive and promising on the outside, but the moment you try to use them for their intended purpose, they melt into a disappointing mess. The revelations I've uncovered through years of studying wealth psychology show that hollow affirmations without alignment are actually reinforcing your current financial reality, not transforming it. The hidden truth that's rarely discussed in manifestation circles is that the fundamental differentiator between those who struggle financially and those who seem to magnetize money isn't what most people think. It's not your education level. It's not your family background. It's not even your starting circumstances or how many hours you work. The true distinction lies in something far more subtle yet infinitely more powerful: the invisible energy patterns created through your everyday speech. Your words are literally crafting your financial reality in real time. creating a vibrational blueprint that the universe responds to with remarkable precision. Think about this journey of transformation. Every time you open your mouth to talk about money, you're either constructing bridges to abundance or building walls around scarcity. And the fascinating part is that most people have no awareness of this process happening hundreds of times each day. When you say things like, "I never have enough," or "Why is everything so expensive?" you're not just describing your current reality, you're actually placing an order with the universe for more of the same experience. It's like walking into a restaurant and specifically requesting disappointment with a side of financial stress, then wondering why that's what keeps showing up on your plate. Now, I want to go even deeper into this mindset shift that occurs when you begin monitoring your prosperity language. Because once you understand this prosperity game, you can begin playing it immediately, today, in this very moment, with your next sentence. Behind the scenes of every millionaire's success story is a decision they made long before the money showed up in their bank account. They decided to speak as if they were already the person they were becoming. They eliminated what I call poverty talk from their vocabulary and replaced it with language that aligns with abundance. This isn't about lying to yourself or others. It's about understanding the impact that your words have on your energy, field, your decision-making, and ultimately, the opportunities that are drawn to you. When you speak the language of lack, you become blind to the abundance that's already surrounding you. Consider how different your financial journey might look if you began speaking differently right now. If you had a magic genie that granted every single wish you verbalized, how much more careful would you be with your words? The universe is that genie, and it's been listening all along. Write in the comments, "I'm watching my words," if you've suddenly realized how your everyday language might be sabotaging your financial future. Let me share something that completely revolutionized my understanding of universal laws. Every single word you speak is essentially a cosmic order form being submitted to the universe. This isn't metaphorical. It's a fundamental principle of how reality operates at an energetic level. When you declare something out loud, it's like dropping a pebble into a vast, universal pond. Those ripples don't just dissipate, they travel outward, creating patterns and eventually returning to you as experiences that perfectly match the vibration you've sent out. This revelation transformed my entire approach to personal development. I began to notice how my casual comments about finances were creating my reality with stunning precision. When I would casually mention, "I never have enough money at the end of the month," the universe would dutifully ensure that experience continued. It wasn't punishing me. It was simply fulfilling my order with impeccable customer service. The awakening moment comes when you realize you've been unconsciously placing orders for limitation, struggle, and scarcity your entire life. It's like walking into the most abundant cosmic restaurant with an infinite menu of possibilities and repeatedly ordering the financial disappointment special with a side of "there's never enough," and then wondering why that same meal keeps appearing on your table. Behind the velvet curtain of wealth creation lies this extraordinary discovery. Wealthy individuals aren't just thinking differently about money. They're speaking an entirely different financial language altogether. Their vocabulary creates energetic pathways that naturally lead to abundance, while most people's speech patterns construct barriers that block prosperity from flowing to them. Listen carefully to someone who has mastered the art of wealth creation. You'll notice they never say things like, "I can't afford that," or "that's too expensive." Instead, they use phrases like, "I'm choosing to allocate my resources differently right now," or "I'm exploring the most strategic investment for this capital." Same situation, completely different energy signature sent to the universe. The wealthy have discovered something that seems almost too simple to be true. The universe functions like the most literal-minded waiter you've ever encountered. It doesn't interpret your orders or try to figure out what you really meant. It simply delivers exactly what you've requested through your words, without judgment or creative interpretation. Your journey toward financial transformation begins with this profound shift in how you communicate about money. Every declaration is either opening doors to abundance or reinforcing walls of limitation. The decision point happens in that microsecond before you speak. Will you default to the familiar language of lack, or will you consciously choose words that align with the prosperity you're creating? This mindset revolution isn't about pretending to have money you don't have. It's about speaking from the energy of the person who is actively creating wealth rather than the person who is trapped in scarcity. The distinction is subtle, but incredibly powerful in its impact on your financial destiny. Drop a comment saying, "I'm choosing my words carefully now," if you're starting to see how your everyday language might be the master key to unlocking the abundance you've been seeking all along. Let's explore this concept more deeply, because it reveals something extraordinary about how the universe operates. Imagine the cosmic system as the most precise waiter you've ever encountered, one who brings exactly what you order, without substitutions, creative interpretations, or trying to guess what you really meant. This cosmic waiter doesn't care about your tone of voice, your intentions, or even your deepest desires. It responds solely to the specific orders you place through your words. This hidden truth explains why so many people remain trapped in financial cycles they desperately want to escape. They say things like, "I'll never get out of debt," or "I always struggle with money." And the universe, being the perfect servant, says, "Your wish is my command," and creates exactly that experience. The revelation here is that your financial reality isn't happening to you. It's responding to you. Behind the eye, scenes of this universal principle is something even more fascinating. The universe doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It simply delivers more of whatever you're focusing on through your speech. When you say, "I don't want to be broke anymore," the universe hears broke and brings more of that experience. It's like typing, "Don't show me cats" into a search engine. You'll still get cats in your results. This explains one of the most profound mindset shifts that separates millionaires from everyone else. The wealthy aren't necessarily smarter, more talented, or harder working than you. What they've mastered is the art of aligning their speech with their desired creations rather than their current circumstances or fears. Listen to someone who has achieved financial freedom, and you'll notice they've systematically eliminated what I call poverty talk from their vocabulary. They never say things like, "I can't afford that," "That's too expensive," or "Money is tight right now." Instead, they've replaced these limiting expressions with language that opens doors rather than builds barriers. Your journey toward financial transformation begins with this decision. Will you continue speaking the language of limitation, or will you adopt the speech patterns that naturally create abundance? This isn't about denying reality. It's about choosing which reality you want to create more of through your words. The impact of this single change can ripple through every area of your financial life. When you stop telling stories of struggle and start speaking as if you're already the wealthy person you're becoming, something miraculous happens. Your brain begins to search for evidence to support your new narrative. Opportunities you were previously blind to suddenly become visible. Solutions emerge where before you only saw problems. This transformation doesn't require special education, connections, or even extraordinary talent. It simply requires awareness of the words leaving your mouth and the courage to choose different ones, even when your current circumstances seem to contradict them. If you're starting to recognize how your everyday speech might be the invisible force keeping wealth at a distance, write, "I'm upgrading my vocabulary," in the comments below. Now let me share a profound insight that changed everything for me. Those seemingly innocent phrases you use every day are actually powerful financial spells you're casting on your own future. Think about it this way. If you had a magic genie that granted every single thing you verbalized, how differently would you speak? You'd immediately stop saying things like, "I can't afford that," "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "I'm broke," wouldn't you? The awakening moment comes when you realize these casual statements aren't just descriptions of your current reality. They're incantations that lock that reality in place. Each time you declare, "I'm terrible with money," or "I'll never be financially free," you're essentially performing a ritual that commands the universe to maintain those conditions in your life. The hidden truth is that your words carry an energetic signature that shapes your financial destiny far more powerfully than most people realize. Join our prosperity community by hitting subscribe right now. This way, you'll never miss the language secrets that millionaires use daily to communicate with the universe and manifest abundance effortlessly. This revelation completely transformed my relationship with prosperity. I began to notice how often these limiting declarations were slipping past my awareness and into the universe as orders. Even seemingly harmless comments like, "I wish I could afford that," or jokes about being broke were actually sophisticated spells I was casting on my own financial future, and the universe was responding with remarkable precision. The journey toward financial transformation begins with a decision to become a detective of your own speech patterns. For the next week, I challenge you to bring conscious awareness to how you speak about money. Don't try to change anything yet. Simply observe and gather data. Notice how many times you speak from a place of financial lack. Count how often phrases like, "That's too expensive," "I wish I could afford," or "living paycheck to paycheck" escape your lips. This mindset shift, from unconscious speaking to conscious awareness, is the essential first step toward commanding your first million from the universe. Most people never make this shift because they don't realize how their casual comments are actively creating their financial reality. They focus on external strategies like investments or side hustles without addressing the root cause of their financial condition, the vibrational orders they're placing through their words. Behind the scenes of this practice is something profound. You're not judging yourself for these patterns. You're simply gathering valuable intelligence about the invisible forces shaping your prosperity. Think of it as taking inventory before you restock your entire mental warehouse with new, abundance-aligned language patterns. The impact of this awareness exercise alone might shock you. Most people discover they're making dozens, sometimes hundreds, of scarcity-based declarations every single day without ever realizing it. From complaints about prices to jokes about being broke to expressions of financial worry. These verbal patterns create a consistent energy signature that the universe faithfully matches. Your breakthrough begins the moment you shine the light of awareness on these unconscious patterns. Because what you can see clearly, you can change intentionally. And when you change your financial language, you literally change the orders you're placing with the cosmic restaurant. If you're committed to becoming a detective of your own speech patterns this week, write, "I'm tracking my money." Talk in the comments below. Now let me share a powerful revelation that completely reshapes how we understand prosperity. Abundance isn't something you need to chase, beg for, or prove yourself worthy of. It's actually your natural state of being. This mindset transformation is fundamental to commanding your first million from the universe. When you truly internalize that abundance is your birthright, everything changes. The journey to financial freedom begins with recognizing that scarcity is not the default condition of the universe. It's an artificial interruption of the natural flow of prosperity. Look at nature itself. It doesn't operate from lack, but from overwhelming abundance. A single apple seed doesn't produce just one apple. It creates a tree that bears thousands of apples over its lifetime, each containing seeds for thousands more trees. This revelation shifts your entire relationship with wealth. If abundance is your natural state, then you're not trying to attain something foreign. You're simply removing the blockages that have interrupted your natural connection to prosperity. And one of the most powerful blockages? The victimhood language that most people unconsciously use when talking about money. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is this fundamental shift in how you speak about your relationship with money. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," which positions you as a helpless victim of circumstance, try, "I'm choosing to invest my money differently right now." Notice the profound difference in energy. Same factual situation, completely different vibrational signature. The impact of this subtle language shift is extraordinary. One statement makes you a victim of external conditions, while the other makes you an empowered decision-maker in your financial life. One closes doors. The other keeps them open while acknowledging your current choices. This is the language pattern that wealthy individuals have mastered, not because they're trying to deceive themselves, but because they understand the power of positioning in their financial narrative. This transformation in your speech patterns does something remarkable to your psychology. When you stop speaking as if money controls you and start speaking as if you control money, your entire relationship with prosperity shifts. You move from being the effect of financial circumstances to being the cause of them. You reclaim your power as the author of your financial story rather than a character being pushed around by external forces. The decisions you make from this empowered linguistic position are fundamentally different from those made from a victimhood position. When you say, "I'm choosing how to allocate my resources," instead of "I can't afford that," you remain open to creative solutions, unexpected opportunities, and innovative approaches that simply aren't visible from the victimhood perspective. Your journey toward commanding your first million accelerates dramatically when you align your language with this truth about abundance. Instead of swimming against prosperity's current with statements of lack and limitation, you begin flowing with it through declarations of choice, opportunity, and empowered decision-making. If you're ready to stop positioning yourself as a victim of financial circumstances and start speaking as the empowered creator of your prosperity, write, "I choose my financial destiny," in the comments below. Let me share another powerful language shift that creates immediate changes in your financial energy field. Instead of ever declaring, "I'm broke," which solidifies that state as your identity, try saying, "I'm in a temporary cash flow situation that I'm actively improving." Do you feel the difference? The facts haven't changed, but the energetic signature you're sending to the universe is completely transformed. This perspective shift moves the experience of limited funds from a permanent identity, "I am broke," to a temporary circumstance that you're actively addressing. The revelation here is that your language either locks you into financial conditions or creates pathways out of them. When you label yourself as broke, you're essentially telling the universe, "This is who I am. Please maintain this reality." But when you describe it as a temporary situation you're actively improving, you're placing an entirely different order with the cosmic restaurant. The enlightenment that comes from this practice is profound. You begin to realize that your financial circumstances aren't fixed. They're fluid, responsive, and constantly being shaped by the declarations you make about them. The wealthy understand this principle intuitively. They never identify with temporary financial conditions as if they were permanent states of being. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by sharing one of the most transformative practices I've discovered on my own journey to financial freedom. When you see something you currently can't purchase, perhaps a luxury car, a beautiful home, or even just an expensive meal, instead of lamenting about the price or feeling bad about what you can't have, try saying something completely different. "I love seeing examples of the abundance that's available to me." This mindset revolution trains your brain to recognize prosperity everywhere instead of focusing on limitations. It's like switching from a scarcity telescope to an abundance microscope. Instead of seeing evidence of what you lack, you begin collecting evidence of the wealth that surrounds you, wealth that is available and making its way to you. Behind the scenes of this practice is something extraordinary happening in your neurology. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information and decides what you notice, begins seeking evidence of abundance rather than scarcity. When you declare, "I love seeing examples of the abundance that's available to me," your brain literally starts scanning your environment for prosperity proof rather than limitation confirmation. The impact of this single language pattern can completely transform your relationship with money. Instead of feeling separation and lack when you see expensive items, you feel connection and possibility. You're no longer on the outside looking in at wealth. You're recognizing wealth as part of the universal flow that's already connected to you. This journey toward prosperity, consciousness happens one declaration at a time. Each time you choose to see expensive items as abundance evidence rather than proof of what I can't have, You're rewiring your entire financial blueprint. You're training yourself to vibrate in alignment with wealth rather than separation from it. If you're committed to seeing abundance evidence everywhere you look this week instead of focusing on limitations, write, "I see prosperity everywhere," in the comments below. Now let me introduce you to one of the most powerful linguistic technologies for commanding wealth, what I call future self-language. This transformative practice involves speaking as if you're already the successful, abundant person you're becoming, not the person limited by your current circumstances. This isn't about living in fantasy land. It's about accessing the expanded version of yourself that already exists in potential. The breakthrough comes when you realize that your future wealthy self isn't something separate from you. It's simply you without the limitations you've accepted through your current language patterns. When you begin speaking from this expanded identity, you create a vibrational bridge between your present reality and your desired financial future. The universe responds not to who you've been, or even who you currently are, but to who you're becoming through your declarations. Behind the scenes of this practice is a profound psychological principle. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what's physically real and what's vividly imagined through your words. When you consistently speak as your future wealthy self, your subconscious begins reorganizing your perceptions, decisions, and actions to align with this new identity. It's like reprogramming your internal navigation system to guide you toward prosperity rather than away from it. The revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that this isn't about pretending. It's about expanding. You're not denying your current reality. You're simply refusing to be defined by it. Your language becomes the bridge between what is and what is becoming. This subtle shift creates an entirely different energetic signature that the universe can respond to with matching experiences. Of course, the key to making this approach effective is balancing authenticity with aspiration in your speech. Instead of saying something weak like, "I hope to make more money someday," which contains both uncertainty and delay, try, "I'm building multiple income streams and watching my wealth grow consistently." This statement combines truthful present action with confident expectation of results. This enlightenment in how you structure your financial declarations creates an entirely different relationship with prosperity. You're no longer begging the universe for scraps or hoping for eventual change. You're speaking as someone who is actively engaged in the process of wealth creation with complete confidence in the outcome. The journey of transformation accelerates dramatically when you eliminate weak, hope-based language from your vocabulary. Phrases like, "I wish," "I hope," "maybe someday," or "if I'm lucky," send mixed signals to the universe about your readiness to receive abundance. They contain subtle vibrations of doubt that dilute the power of your manifestation. Your decision to speak with clarity and certainty about your financial future, even while acknowledging your current reality, creates an energetic momentum that begins shifting circumstances in remarkable ways. You'll notice opportunities appearing that were previously invisible, resources becoming available that seemed out of reach, and synchronicities occurring that feel almost magical. If you're ready to start speaking from your future wealthy self rather than your current limitations, write, "I speak from my wealthy identity," in the comments below. Let me share another subtle but profound distinction that completely transforms how the universe responds to your prosperity language. Most people have heard about the power of gratitude, but here's where many get it completely backwards. Generic gratitude statements like, "I'm grateful for everything I have," can actually reinforce a scarcity mindset when they come from a place of, "I should be happy with my crumbs." The revelation that changed my entire approach to appreciation came when I discovered the difference between scarcity-based gratitude and abundance-aligned gratitude. When you say, "I'm thankful for what little I have," or "I'm grateful even though times are tough," you're sending mixed signals to the universe. The gratitude part says, "More please," but the limitation language says, "This is enough," or "This is all I deserve." This insight completely transformed my manifestation journey. I began practicing what I call specific prosperity appreciation, acknowledging abundance in precise, celebratory ways. I'm grateful for the unexpected $50 that showed up today, or I appreciate how money flows to me in perfect timing. This subtle shift changes everything because it trains your brain to notice, document, and celebrate evidence of financial flow rather than financial limitation. Behind the scenes of this practice is a powerful psychological principle. What you specifically appreciate appreciates specifically. When you call out and celebrate exact instances of money flowing to you, even small amounts, you're essentially telling the universe, "More of this, please." And the universe, being the faithful waiter it is, brings you more experiences that match this vibrational order. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing something that might be sabotaging your financial energy field without you even realizing it. Our culture is absolutely addicted to what I call financial complaint bonding. Those conversations where everyone competes to share their money struggles, tax frustrations, inflation fears, and economic anxieties. The awakening moment comes when you recognize that while these feelings are completely valid, constantly speaking them out loud is like watering weeds in your abundance garden. Every time you join the chorus of financial complaints, even in casual conversation, you're placing cosmic orders for more experiences that match those complaints. This mindset revelation requires courage because financial complaint bonding is one of our culture's primary social currencies. It can feel awkward at first to not participate in these collective grievance sessions. But the transformation in your prosperity consciousness when you stop reinforcing lack through your casual conversations is absolutely extraordinary. The journey toward commanding your first million requires becoming intentional about the financial energy you're contributing to conversations. This doesn't mean becoming fake or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to speak from a place of solution, opportunity, and possibility rather than problem, limitation, and fear, even when discussing challenging financial realities. If you've noticed how often the people around you engage in financial complaint bonding, and you're ready to shift those conversations in a new direction, write "I choose abundant conversations" in the comments below. Let me share a practical strategy that completely transformed how I navigate financial conversations without alienating others. When someone launches into a complaint about money, "Gas prices are killing me," or "Taxes are draining my bank account," you have a critical choice point. Most people automatically join the complaint chorus, adding their own financial grievances to the mix. But this is precisely when you can shift the energy without seeming preachy or disconnected. Try responding with something like, "It's interesting how these situations always inspire me to find new ways to increase my income." Notice what this does. You're acknowledging their experience without amplifying the scarcity vibrations. You're neither dismissing their feelings nor adding your own complaint energy to the collective field. This subtle redirection maintains the connection while elevating the conversation to a more empowered perspective. The revelation here is that you don't need to participate in financial negativity to maintain relationships. In fact, your consistent redirection toward opportunity-focused language can actually inspire others to shift their own prosperity consciousness. You become a quiet catalyst for transformation in your social circles simply through your refusal to reinforce limitation through your speech. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic with something that might sound controversial at first, but has the power to completely revolutionize your financial reality. Here it is. Stop talking about what you can't do because of money. This might be one of the most powerful linguistic shifts you can make on your journey to commanding your first million. Every time you declare, "I can't travel because it's too expensive," or "I can't start that business because I don't have the capital," you're reinforcing the very limitations you're trying to break free from. These statements might seem factually accurate, but they're actually creating energetic barriers between you and your desires. They're like cosmic cancellation requests, actively pushing away the very experiences you want to attract. The mindset breakthrough comes when you shift from limitation language to creation language. Instead of saying what you can't do, talk about what you're creating. I'm planning an amazing trip and watching for the perfect opportunity to make it happen. Or, I'm building my business plan and staying open to creative funding solutions. Same reality, completely different energy signature sent to the universe. Behind the scenes of this linguistic shift is a profound psychological principle. Your brain searches for evidence to support whatever story you're telling. When you repeatedly declare what you can't do, your reticular activating system diligently finds proof of those limitations everywhere. But when you speak about what you're creating, that same filtering system begins scanning for opportunities, solutions, and pathways that align with your declarations. If you've been unconsciously blocking your desires by talking about what you can't afford or can't do, write, "I'm speaking my desires into existence," in the comments below. Let me share another transformative language pattern that accelerates your financial breakthroughs. Instead of focusing on limitation statements, practice consistently speaking about what you're actively creating. This subtle shift in focus changes everything about how the universe responds to your vibration. Rather than saying, "I can't afford that house right now," try, "I'm in the process of aligning with my perfect home, and I'm excited to see how it unfolds." This isn't denial, it's directional energy. The revelation here is that your words are either creative forces or limiting barriers. There's no neutral ground. When you declare what you're building, planning, or anticipating, you activate a completely different energetic signature than when you speak about what's missing or unavailable. The universe responds to the dominant vibration of your speech patterns with matching experiences. Behind the scenes of this principle is a powerful psychological transformation. When you consistently speak about what you're creating rather than what you lack, you prime your brain's reticular activating system to notice opportunities, resources, and pathways that align with your creative declarations. Your mind literally begins scanning your environment for evidence that supports your creative language rather than your limiting language. The journey toward commanding your first million accelerates dramatically when you make this one pivotal shift in how you communicate about your desires. Instead of pushing your dreams away with statements of current limitation, you draw them closer with declarations of active creation. The difference in results is extraordinary. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by revealing another language mastery that most people completely miss on their prosperity journey: learning the language of receiving. This might sound strange at first, but most people are absolutely terrible at receiving compliments, opportunities, and yes, money, because they haven't learned how to speak receptively. When someone offers to pay for lunch, instead of immediately protesting with, "Oh no, I couldn't let you do that," try responding with, "Thank you, I received that graciously." When someone compliments your work, instead of deflecting with self-deprecation, simply say, "I appreciate you recognizing my value." This mindset shift might feel uncomfortable at first because many of us were taught that gracious receiving is somehow selfish or impolite. The enlightenment comes when you realize that constantly deflecting abundance in any form, whether it's a compliment, an opportunity, or financial generosity, is actually training the universe that you're not ready for more. Each time you push away something positive, you're essentially saying no thank you to prosperity itself. Your inability to receive small blessings becomes a cosmic signal that you're not prepared for larger ones. The decision to master receptive language creates an immediate shift in your prosperity consciousness. When you graciously accept what's offered, whether it's praise, assistance, or financial support, you're aligning with the natural flow of abundance rather than swimming against it. You're declaring to the universe, "Yes, I am ready and worthy to receive." If you've been unconsciously blocking blessings by deflecting compliments, opportunities, or generosity, write, "I am open to receiving," in the comments below. Let me share a profound insight that completely transformed my understanding of abundance flow. Every time you deflect a blessing, whether it's a compliment, an opportunity, or financial assistance, you're sending a powerful signal to the universe that you're not prepared to receive more. This revelation changed everything for me. when I realized I'd been unconsciously blocking prosperity through what I thought was just being polite or humble. Think about it this way. The universe is constantly testing your readiness to receive through small offers of abundance. When someone compliments your business idea and you immediately deflect with, "Oh, it's nothing special," you're essentially telling the cosmic forces, "I'm not comfortable receiving acknowledgement for my value." When a friend offers to introduce you to a valuable connection and you say, "I wouldn't want to impose," you're declaring, "I'm not ready for expanded opportunities." The awakening happens when you recognize that these seemingly innocent deflections are actually sophisticated prosperity barriers you've been unconsciously maintaining. Each "no thank you" to a small blessing becomes a universal instruction to withhold larger ones. It's like telling a delivery person at your door, "I don't accept packages," and then wondering why your orders never arrive. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room. You might be thinking, "This sounds great in theory, but I have real bills, real debt, and real financial pressure. How is changing my language going to fix my actual problems?" This is a completely fair question, and here's the honest answer. Changing your language patterns won't magically deposit money in your bank account tomorrow. The revelation is that language shifts create something far more powerful than instant cash. They transform your energy, your opportunities, your decisions, and most importantly, your ability to recognize and act on abundance when it appears. Think of it as upgrading your prosperity operating system rather than just adding a few dollars to your account. Behind the scenes of this transformation is a fascinating neurological process. When you consistently speak from lack, you're training your brain's reticular activating system to look exclusively for evidence of scarcity. You'll notice every price increase, every bill, every expense with remarkable precision. But when you begin speaking from abundance, this same filtering system begins highlighting opportunities, solutions, and possibilities that were previously invisible to you. The journey toward financial breakthrough isn't about denying your current circumstances. It's about refusing to let those circumstances define your language, your energy, and your expectations. When you shift from problem-focused language to solution-focused language, you literally change which aspects of reality become visible and available to you. This isn't magical thinking, it's neuroscience. Your brain shows you more of whatever you're consistently focusing on through your words. The wealthy haven't discovered secret investment strategies as much as they've mastered the art of directing their attention toward abundance evidence rather than scarcity evidence through their language patterns. If you're ready to stop deflecting the prosperity that's trying to reach you and start speaking in ways that open your awareness to abundance opportunities, write, "I'm upgrading my prosperity operating system" in the comments below. Let me share a fascinating insight about how your brain actually works behind the scenes of your financial experience. Your reticular activating system, the filtering mechanism in your brain, is constantly scanning your environment for information that matches what you're focusing on through your words and thoughts. This neurological revelation completely transforms how we understand the connection between language and prosperity. Think about it this way. When you consistently speak from scarcity, "I never have enough," "Bills are overwhelming me," "Everything is so expensive," your brain literally becomes a sophisticated scarcity detection machine. It will dutifully highlight every expense, every price increase, every financial challenge with remarkable precision, while simultaneously filtering out evidence of abundance, opportunity, and possibility. The enlightenment comes when you realize that this same neurological mechanism can work in your favor when you consciously shift your language patterns. When you begin speaking consistently from abundance, your reticular activating system recalibrates to scan for evidence that matches these new declarations. Suddenly, you begin noticing opportunities, resources, and pathways that were always there but were previously invisible to you because they didn't match your verbal focus. This isn't magical thinking. It's the science of perception and attention. Your brain cannot possibly process all the information in your environment, so it selectively filters based on what you've programmed it to consider important through your speech patterns. The wealthy haven't necessarily created a different external reality. They've trained their brains to notice different aspects of the same reality through their language choices. Now, I want to show you how to apply this principle to specific financial situations in your life. Let's say you need an extra $500 this month for an unexpected expense. The scarcity approach sounds like, I don't know how I'm going to come up with this money. Things are so tight. I'm stressed about making ends meet. This language pattern immediately activates stress hormones and narrows your perception to focus exclusively on the problem. The abundance approach transforms this completely. I'm excited to discover the creative ways this $500 is going to show up. I'm open to opportunities and ready to take inspired action. Notice that we're acknowledging the same reality. You need $500, but the energetic signature is entirely different. The first approach puts you in a contracted, problem-focused state. The second puts you in an expanded, solution-oriented state. From this abundance mindset, you're far more likely to notice that freelance opportunity, more likely to remember the items you could sell, more likely to think of services you could offer, more likely to ask for that raise you've been postponing. The opportunities were always there in your environment. Your language determines whether you can see and act on them. This transformation in prosperity consciousness happens through consistent practice with real-world financial situations. Each time you catch yourself about to speak from lack regarding money, pause and consciously choose language that opens possibilities rather than confirms limitations. If you're committed to reprogramming your brain's filtering system to show you abundance evidence instead of scarcity proof, write, I'm training my RAS for wealth in the comments below. Let me share something fascinating I've observed while working with thousands of people on their prosperity journey. When you begin speaking consistently from abundance, a remarkable shift happens in how you perceive opportunities. It's almost as if you develop a sixth sense, what I call your prosperity vision, that allows you to spot financial possibilities that were completely invisible to you before. From an abundant mindset created through conscious language choices, you suddenly begin noticing freelance opportunities that perfectly match your skills. You find the courage to request the raise you've been deserving for months. You identify items around your home that could be sold for significant value. You develop service offerings that people are eager to pay for. The revelation here is that these opportunities didn't suddenly materialize. They were always in your environment, waiting to be recognized. The transformation occurs in your perception, not in your external circumstances. Your language literally determines which aspects of reality become visible and accessible to you. When you declare, I'm a magnet for financial opportunities, your brain begins seeking evidence to confirm this statement. When you speak as if abundance is your natural state, your awareness expands to include prosperity possibilities that your scarcity-focused mind was programmed to filter out. Behind the scenes of this perceptual shift is something even more profound. Your words aren't just changing what you notice. They're actually altering your energetic signature in ways that make you more magnetic to opportunities. People can feel the difference between someone speaking from desperation versus someone speaking from confident expectation. Opportunities, resources, and connections naturally gravitate toward those who embody abundance through their language patterns. Now, I want to be completely transparent about an essential aspect of this journey that many prosperity teachers conveniently omit. This transformation requires consistency and patience. This isn't a one-week challenge where you speak abundantly for 7 days and then expect your life to completely transform. This is about fundamentally rewiring your relationship with prosperity at the deepest levels of your neurology and energy field. The enlightenment comes when you recognize that every single day you practice these new speech patterns. You're building momentum. You're creating new neural pathways, new energy patterns, new vibrational habits that gradually become your default way of being. Some days will feel easier than others. You'll catch yourself slipping into old language patterns, and that's perfectly normal. The key is to notice without judgment and gently redirect. Think of it like learning to play a musical instrument or mastering a new language. You wouldn't expect to be concert-ready or fluent after a few practice sessions. But every time you practice, you're getting better. Every conscious choice to speak from abundance rather than scarcity strengthens your prosperity muscles and deepens the grooves of these new patterns in your neurology. The decision to commit to this process, not just for a week or a month, but as a fundamental lifestyle shift, is what separates those who experience lasting financial transformation from those who briefly dabble in prosperity principles before returning to their default scarcity programming. If you recognize that real transformation comes through consistent practice rather than overnight magic, write, "I'm committed to the prosperity process," in the comments below. Let me share something that completely changed my perspective on this prosperity journey. I began thinking about mastering abundance language the same way a musician approaches learning an instrument. When you first pick up a guitar or sit at a piano, you don't expect to play flawlessly from day one. There are awkward moments, missed notes, and times when your fingers simply won't cooperate with what your mind intends. The revelation that brought me peace was understanding that developing prosperity consciousness works exactly the same way. Some days, your abundance language will flow naturally and effortlessly. Other days, especially when you're stressed or tired, you'll find yourself slipping back into old scarcity patterns. This isn't failure. It's simply part of the learning curve that everyone experiences when developing any new skill. The awakening moment comes when you stop judging these inevitable slips and instead view them as valuable feedback in your prosperity practice. Just as a pianist doesn't abandon the instrument after hitting a wrong note, you don't abandon your abundance language when you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that." You simply notice without judgment and gently redirect. "I'm choosing to allocate my resources differently right now." Behind the scenes of this practice is a profound neurological transformation. Each time you catch and correct a scarcity statement, you're literally carving new neural pathways in your brain. You're training your mind to default to abundance language rather than limitation language. And like any skill, consistency creates mastery over time. Now, I want to reveal something that might completely shift your understanding about wealthy individuals. The wealthy aren't wealthy because they never think about money problems or because they've somehow managed to create lives without financial challenges. They're wealthy because they've trained themselves to think about money solutions instead of dwelling on money problems. This mindset revolution is reflected directly in their language patterns. They've developed what I call solution language instead of problem language. When they face a financial challenge, they don't say, "I don't have enough money," or "This is impossible." They immediately shift to, "How can I generate more income?" or "What creative solution haven't I considered yet?" The journey toward commanding your first million accelerates dramatically when you make this one pivotal shift in your speech patterns. Instead of verbally amplifying problems through statements like, "I'm drowning in debt," or "I never have enough," you begin framing everything as a solvable puzzle. "I'm developing a strategic plan to eliminate my debt," or "I'm discovering new ways to increase my income streams." This transformation isn't about denying challenges. It's about refusing to make those challenges the focus of your language. The wealthy don't pretend problems don't exist. They simply don't give those problems center stage in their speech patterns. They use their words to direct energy towards solutions, opportunities, and possibilities rather than limitations, obstacles, and fears. If you're ready to stop reinforcing problems through your words and start creating solutions through your language, write, "I speak solutions into existence," in the comments below. Let me share a powerful linguistic shift that creates immediate transformation in your financial energy. Instead of making definitive problem statements like, "I don't have enough money," practice converting these into solution-focused questions. "How can I generate more income right now?" Or, "What creative solution haven't I considered yet?" This subtle shift activates an entirely different part of your brain, moving you from problem-dwelling to problem-solving mode. The revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that your brain responds to questions in a fundamentally different way than statements. When you declare, "I'm broke," your mind accepts this as fact and stops searching for alternatives. But when you ask, "How can I create an additional income stream this month?" your brain automatically begins scanning for answers, possibilities, and opportunities that align with this query. Behind the scenes of this practice is a fascinating psychological principle called the Zeigarnik effect. Your mind remains actively engaged with questions until they're answered. When you frame your financial challenges as solution-seeking questions, you activate this powerful mental mechanism that continues working even when you're not consciously focusing on it. This is why you might suddenly have a brilliant money-making idea while taking a shower or walking in nature. Your brain has been quietly processing your solution-focused questions. The decision to transform every problem statement into a solution question creates an immediate shift in your emotional state, your creative capacity, and ultimately, your financial results. This isn't positive thinking. It's strategic linguistic programming that directs your mental resources toward opportunity rather than limitation. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing something that many prosperity teachers completely overlook: the profound impact of your language environment on your financial consciousness. Think of your prosperity mindset like a delicate garden. Your own language patterns are the seeds you plant, but the language you're surrounded by is the climate those seeds grow in. In our modern world, we're constantly marinating in a soup of financial scarcity language. From news headlines about economic crises, to social media complaints about inflation, to casual conversations about how everything is so expensive. This constant exposure to lack-focused communication makes maintaining your own abundance patterns extraordinarily challenging. The awakening comes when you begin intentionally curating your language environment with the same care you'd give to your physical environment. This might mean being more selective about the conversations you engage in, the social media you consume, and even the news you watch. I'm not suggesting you live in a bubble, but I am advocating for conscious choices about the linguistic climate you're exposing yourself to daily. Seek out content creators, books, podcasts, and communities that speak the language of possibility and growth. Surround yourself with people who talk about opportunities rather than limitations, solutions rather than problems, abundance rather than scarcity. Your prosperity consciousness is profoundly influenced by the dominant language patterns you're exposed to. If you're ready to be more intentional about the language environment you're immersing yourself in, write, "I'm curating my prosperity climate" in the comments below. Now let me share a practical tool that will completely transform how you implement these prosperity principles in your daily life. I call it an abundance phrasebook, a personalized collection of 20-30 powerful declarations that align with your specific financial desires and feel authentically yours. Think of it as your prosperity pocket guide, something you can reference throughout the day whenever you catch yourself about to speak from lack. The revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that your mind needs ready alternatives when you're breaking deeply ingrained speech patterns. It's not enough to simply stop saying limiting phrases. You need powerful replacements that resonate at a soul level. Your abundance phrasebook becomes that crucial resource in moments when your old programming wants to default to scarcity language. Behind the scenes of this practice is a profound psychological principle. Having pre-prepared language patterns dramatically increases your ability to interrupt habitual speech. When you catch yourself about to say, "I can't afford that," having immediate access to an alternative like, "I'm choosing to invest my resources differently right now," makes the transformation process significantly easier. Your personalized abundance phrasebook might include declarations like, "Money flows to me easily and consistently. I'm always in the right place at the right time for financial opportunities. I trust my ability to create wealth. I'm grateful for my expanding prosperity. I see abundance evidence everywhere I look." These become your go-to responses when life triggers your old scarcity programming. Now, I want to emphasize something absolutely crucial about this practice. These phrases must feel authentic to you. This isn't about reciting hollow affirmations that create internal conflict. It's about crafting language that genuinely resonates with your personal style and beliefs about prosperity. Effective abundance language feels aligned and natural, not forced or fake. The journey toward commanding your first million accelerates dramatically when you select prosperity phrases that actually feel good when you say them. If declaring, "I am a money magnet," makes you roll your eyes or feels disconnected from your experience, it will create resistance, rather than alignment. But perhaps, "I'm consistently improving my relationship with money," or "I trust my ability to solve financial challenges creatively," might feel more authentic. The awakening comes when you recognize that the power of these phrases isn't in their positivity, it's in their resonance. A statement that feels genuinely aligned with your values and beliefs, even if it's more measured than dramatically positive, will create far more transformation than a grandiose declaration that feels foreign to your authentic self. Take time to craft your abundance phrasebook with statements that actually light you up when you say them. Test each phrase by speaking it aloud and noticing how it feels in your body. Does it create expansion or contraction? Does it feel like something you would actually say, or does it feel like someone else's language? The phrases that create genuine resonance are the ones that will transform your prosperity consciousness. If you're inspired to create your own abundance phrasebook with declarations that authentically resonate with you, write, "My prosperity phrases are ready," in the comments below. Now let me share something fascinating that happens as you begin implementing these abundance language patterns in your daily life. As your speech transforms from scarcity to prosperity consciousness, you'll notice something remarkable. Other people will begin responding to you differently. There's an energetic shift that occurs when you stop speaking from lack and limitation and start speaking from possibility and abundance. People can feel this shift, even if they can't consciously identify what's changed about you. The revelation here is that your language creates what I call your presence signature, the subtle energetic field that either attracts or repels opportunities, connections, and resources. When you consistently speak from prosperity consciousness, you literally alter the vibrational frequency you're broadcasting to the world. It's like switching from a static-filled radio station to one with crystal-clear reception. Behind the scenes of this transformation is something truly extraordinary. People are unconsciously drawn to those who radiate possibility rather than limitation. Think about it. Who would you rather spend time with? Someone who constantly complains about financial struggles and emphasizes what they can't do? Or someone who speaks with quiet confidence about the opportunities they're creating and the possibilities they're exploring? The journey toward commanding your first million accelerates dramatically when you develop what I call a magnetic presence through your prosperity speech. This isn't about becoming artificially positive or putting on a performance of wealth. It's about genuinely shifting how you communicate about money, opportunity, and possibility in ways that others can feel, even if they can't articulate what's different about your energy. This magnetic presence creates a fascinating ripple effect in your life. You'll find that opportunities start coming to you more naturally. People will think of you when they hear about job openings, business collaborations, or investment possibilities. This happens not because you've been asking for these opportunities, but because your language has shifted you from repelling abundance to attracting it. The mindset transformation here is profound. You're no longer chasing opportunities from a place of desperation. Instead, you're magnetically drawing them toward you through your aligned prosperity language. You become the kind of person that others naturally want to include, support, and do business with. This isn't magical thinking. It's the subtle psychology of human connection and opportunity flow. When you speak from confidence, possibility, and expectation rather than need, doubt, and limitation, you activate completely different responses in the people around you. The hidden truth is that most opportunities in life come through other people, and your language directly influences how those people perceive your readiness for bigger possibilities. Notice how differently people respond when you say, "I'm exploring several promising income streams right now," versus, "I really need to find a way to make more money." Same essential meaning, completely different energetic impact on the listener. One positions you as an empowered creator actively building prosperity. The other positions you as someone lacking resources and needing rescue. If you've already noticed shifts in how people respond to you when you speak from abundance rather than scarcity, write "My energy is shifting" in the comments below. Now, I want to address a critical misconception that sometimes emerges when people begin working with prosperity language. Speaking abundantly isn't a substitute for taking action. It's the energetic foundation that makes your actions dramatically more effective. This isn't about choosing between language or action. It's about recognizing that aligned language transforms the quality of every action you take. The revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that actions taken from a scarcity mindset create fundamentally different results than identical actions taken from an abundance mindset. When you operate from prosperity-aligned language, you make better decisions, enter negotiations with quiet confidence rather than desperate need, and demonstrate a willingness to invest in growth rather than clinging to safety. Behind the scenes of this principle is a fascinating psychological dynamic. Your language creates your emotional state, which directly influences your decision-making capacity. When you consistently speak from lack, "I need this deal," or "I'm in trouble," you activate your sympathetic nervous system, triggering fight-or-flight responses that literally shut down your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for strategic thinking and creative problem-solving. The transformation happens when you align your language with abundance before taking action. Instead of approaching opportunities from desperation, you move from a centered place of possibility. This subtle shift completely changes how others perceive you, how you evaluate options, and ultimately, the quality of results you create through your actions. Let me share how this applies specifically to job searches and business opportunities, areas where your language creates immediate and tangible impacts. When approaching potential employers or clients from scarcity, you might say things like, "I hope someone will hire me," or "Please give me a chance," or "I really need this job." These statements, while honest, broadcast desperation, an energy that typically repels the very opportunities you're seeking. The mindset breakthrough comes when you replace these with confident, abundant statements. "I'm excited to find the perfect role where I can contribute my unique value," or "I know there's an ideal match for my skills and experience." Can you feel the energetic difference? The first approach comes from lack, the second, from aligned expectation. Employers, clients, and business partners can absolutely feel this difference, even if they can't consciously identify what creates that feeling. One positions you as needing rescue, the other positions you as bringing value. One creates subtle pressure, the other creates space for mutual exploration of fit. One radiates scarcity, the other embodies confident abundance. This journey of transformation extends to every aspect of professional advancement, from how you describe your experience in interviews, to how you negotiate compensation, to how you present your services or products. In each case, your language creates the energetic foundation that either attracts or repels the opportunities you desire. If you've noticed how your language has been affecting your professional opportunities, and you're ready to shift how you present yourself in the world, write "I speak my value into existence" in the comments below. Now, I want to give you something immediately actionable, your first step on this transformative journey. Rather than trying to change everything at once, begin with what I call the 24-hour language audit. Starting right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Simply observe your financial language without trying to change it yet. This awareness exercise alone will create profound revelations about your prosperity patterns. Set a timer on your phone to go off every 2 hours during your waking hours. When it does, take a moment to reflect on how you've been speaking about money since the last reminder. Have you complained about prices? Made jokes about being broke? Expressed worry about bills? Simply notice without judgment, perhaps jotting down what you observe in a small notebook or your phone's notes app. The awakening that comes from this practice is often shocking. Most people have absolutely no idea how consistently they speak from financial lack until they begin this conscious tracking. You might discover that you make dozens, sometimes hundreds, of scarcity-based declarations in a single day without ever realizing it. This illumination is the essential first step toward commanding your financial destiny. Behind the scenes of this practice is a powerful psychological principle. What remains unconscious cannot be transformed. By bringing awareness to your current language patterns, you're shining light on the invisible forces that have been shaping your financial reality. This isn't about self-criticism. It's about gathering intelligence about your own prosperity programming. The revelation that changed everything in my own journey was understanding that awareness must precede transformation. Trying to change your language patterns before becoming fully conscious of them is like trying to rebuild a house in the dark. You can't effectively modify what you can't clearly see. This 24-hour period of simple observation creates the foundation for every prosperity shift that follows. Now, I want to share the most powerful insight I've discovered in my years of studying wealth consciousness. If you want to become a millionaire, you must start speaking like one today. Not when your bank account shows 7 figures, not when you feel worthy enough, not when circumstances seem perfect, but right now, in this very moment, with your very next sentence. This mindset revolution completely transforms how we understand manifestation. Your words aren't merely describing your current reality, they're creating your future reality. The universe isn't waiting for your circumstances to change before responding to your commands. It's responding to the commands you're giving right now through your everyday language. The journey toward financial freedom accelerates dramatically when you make this one pivotal decision: to speak from the identity of the wealthy person you're becoming rather than the limited person you've been. This isn't about pretending or fabricating. It's about accessing the expanded version of yourself that already exists in potential and allowing that version to speak through you now. If you're ready to stop waiting for external circumstances to change before you change your language, write "I speak as my wealthy self now" in the comments below. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey of transformation. What you've discovered here isn't just another manifestation technique. It's a fundamental rewiring of how you communicate with the universe about prosperity. The sentence that commands your first million isn't some magical incantation. It's the consistent language pattern that aligns your energy with abundance rather than scarcity. Remember, every word you speak is either opening doors to wealth or building walls around limitation. The choice is yours with every sentence. The universe is listening not just to your conscious requests, but to your casual declarations, your everyday comments, and your habitual phrases about money. If you found value in these insights today, I'd love for you to hit the like button. It helps others discover these principles that have transformed so many lives. Our community is growing with people just like you who are reclaiming their financial power through conscious language. And if this message resonated with your soul today, leave a comment saying, "I command my millions now." I read every comment and love connecting with those who are serious about their prosperity journey. For those ready to go even deeper into these principles, there's a video right here that explores the 7-day prosperity protocol that builds on everything we've discussed today. Click and continue with me there as we take these concepts from understanding to implementation. Until next time, remember, your wealthy identity isn't waiting for you in some distant future. It's available now, in this moment, through the words you choose to speak. The universe is ready to deliver exactly what you're ordering through your language. What will you choose to say?